This is not a game. That is the message from the border czar to protesters trying to block ICE raids against criminal migrants. Tom Homan now promising to investigate the leaks that disrupted an operation targeting suspected Tren de Aragua gang members. Jonathan Hunt is on this. He's live out of LA for us. Hi, Jonathan.
Hey, Sandra. Hundreds of federal agents took part in the raids in Aurora, but instead of busting Tren de Aragua gang members, the raid itself was pretty much a total bust. There were no gang members at the targeted apartment buildings, but immigration activists were there using bullhorns to berate the ICE agents and to offer advice to any immigrants who might have been at home.
Please remain silent. Don't open the door.
That apparently infuriated border czar Tom Homan, who was on site in Colorado.
They may find themselves in a pair of handcuffs very soon. So working with DOJ on that, get some legal guidance on that. I'm not an attorney. I know what SecOps is about. I know what crossing that line is.
Title 8 of immigration law, quote, makes it an offense for any person who, knowing or in reckless disregard of the fact that an alien has come to, entered, or remains in the United States in violation of law, conceals, harbors, or shields from detection, or attempts to conceal, harbor, or shield from detection such alien in any place. Now, that's a tough legal standard to reach in this case, according to experts, but it's certainly possible.
You have to prove that the defendant knew something about the crime they were committing. One of the elements of the offense is always knowledge. Here, though, the statute specifically says the person can either know they are harboring or shielding an illegal alien or be in reckless disregard of the fact that they are.
Now, leaking of information about the raid was also clearly a problem in Aurora. If this was supposed to be shock and awe immigration enforcement, the ICE agents clearly lost the shock part of that combination. Sandra?
Jonathan Hunt on that for us. Jonathan, thank you. John?
Sandra, joining us now to dig deeper on this is the president of the National Border Patrol Council, Paul Perez. Paul, great to see you again. So Tom Homan, after what happened in Aurora, Colorado, where they only came away with one Tren de Aragua member, as opposed to the expected 100, said that he's basically fed up with the locals trying to help these people hide out. Here's what he said. Listen here.
This isn't a game. When the operations get leaked like that, it puts our officers at great risk. It's already a dangerous job. The rest of we know TDA is dangerous. Everybody can agree to that. But when they get a heads up we're coming, it's only a matter of time before our officers are ambushed. And their job's dangerous enough. So we're going to address this very seriously.
You know, this involved joint operations. ICE, Border Patrol was there, CBP, HSI, DEA. You had a lot of agencies coordinating with each other, and then you had activists on the ground who are actively trying to thwart this. Homan is threatening to put anybody in jail who interferes with operations in the future. Is that the way to go?
Yeah, I mean, so these people are putting our agents and officers at risk by tipping them off or by being out there and interfering and impeding. So absolutely, with Department of Justice under Pam Bondi now, we know that we're going to have the support that we need from the DOJ to make sure that we can go after these criminals and lock them up. And it's unfortunate that these activists are out there putting these people, these illegal alien criminals, above the safety and security of the people that are here doing what they need to do to go to work, living in these apartment complexes that are not in harm's way because of these criminals. They're interfering and they should be dealt with.
Yeah, it really makes you scratch your head as to why people in the community would want to shield Tren de Aragua members who have been terrorizing the community. Doesn't seem to make a lot of sense to a lot of people. So that was what was going on in Colorado. So meantime, in Illinois, a few states over, the Department of Justice is suing both Governor J.B. Pritzker and Brandon Johnson, the mayor of Chicago, for interfering in deportation operations, saying in part in a lawsuit, quote, the United States brings this declaratory and injunctive action to prohibit the state of Illinois and its subdivisions from enforcing several state and local laws that are designed to and, in fact, interfere with and discriminate against the federal government's enforcement of federal immigration law in violation of the Supremacy Clause of the United States Constitution. Pritzker insists that he's just following the law. But what Immigration and Customs Enforcement, what the Border Patrol czar have been saying is, look, if the local officials would just honor ICE detainers, they'd never have to go into the community with these raids. But the local officials refused to do it.
That's absolutely correct. Our officers, our agents can go into these jails in a secure environment, take custody of these dangerous felons, and get them out of there. But what they're doing by not honoring these detainers is they're allowing those people to go into the community, and then our agents and officers have to go in there into the communities and chase them, apprehend them, and that puts other people at risk because a lot of these criminals, they know right now, especially with Gitmo being open, they know they're going to be removed. They know they're going to be deported, so it's more likely they're going to put up a fight, which our agents and officers are trained for, but it's unnecessarily putting innocent people at risk.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous that they're doing it.
Yeah, that would seem to be a logical development here. So Pam Bondi is hitting some of these sanctuary jurisdictions in the wallet. One of her first orders of business after being sworn in by Justice Thomas in the Oval Office was to put out this order, which says in part, quote, sanctuary jurisdictions should not receive access to federal grants administered by the Department of Justice. The department will exercise its own authority to impose any conditions of funding that do not violate applicable constitutional statutory limitations. So she wants to deny funds to sanctuary cities from the DOJ, which I think would probably squeeze them. It would probably hurt their budgets. But will it make a difference?
I think it will. I think it's great. Anytime that you go after funding, especially from the federal government, and we fund a lot of counties, cities, municipalities. And so when you go after the funding, that makes them have to make a hard decision between wanting to protect illegal aliens, and it's not hard, or serving the communities with the funding that we give them. It should not be a difficult decision.
One would think that your priorities should be to protect your communities. But apparently,
yeah, absolutely.
Apparently some folks don't see that as important. Paul, great to talk to you. Thank you. Have a good weekend, sir. And it'll be a busy one.
Thank you, John.